so excited and ignited and delighted to have with us today Rayna DuBose. Thank you so much for coming and for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I was very excited. I've been looking forward to this Sunday.
And we've been looking forward to having you. So welcome to the set, and thank you so much. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Now you have a story. You have many stories. You're a motivational speaker now. You're an author. You're traveling the country, but you have a very unique story to tell. 2001 was a year for you.
Yes, it was.
Now I was in New York as a police chaplain, so 9/11 happened in 2001.
Right.
But that wasn't the only disaster that happened. Tell us about what happened with you.
Oh, 2001 for me pretty much was, I guess you could say, was just as exciting as it was devastating at the same time. I received a full scholarship to go to Virginia Tech and played Division I basketball there. At that point in time, it was the height of my career, and I was thrilled. I was excited. This was what I had been waiting for, I guess you could say. And at the same time, I guess you could say, as soon as our season started, it came to an end. And for me, it came to an abrupt end because I actually contracted bacterial meningitis.
Now this is at the end of your first basketball season.
Yes.
You've won a scholarship,
Yes.
your Division I, your dream, and then your dream sort of turns into a nightmare.
Right.
What was it like when you found out, first of all, what you contracted, and then what were the results of contracting that?
Well, I had no idea exactly what bacterial meningitis was when I contracted it. I just know that I had the vaccination for it. Being a student athlete, living in the dormitories, it was mandatory. So all I knew was I had a set vaccine schedule that I needed to obey by, and I did that. Now, I guess you could say after waking up out of my 3-week coma and really finding out what had happened to me was just devastating. Here I was, not only a Division I athlete, but a world-class athlete, I guess you could say. Not only was I a basketball player, I danced and I played volleyball also.
What kind of dance did you do?
Ballet, tap, jazz,
Oh, wow.
stuff we do as little kids.
Okay, you still have the flow. So
I do,
see that,
I still have my grace.
Yes, grace, that's it.
So it was, to me, that was just one of the most devastating things. I couldn't understand how everything was just going to be taken from me.
Do you have any idea how you contracted it?
I have no idea how I contracted it, but the way it is contracted is through any type of saliva secretion, so eating, drinking, kissing behind people.
Exactly. I have a son at Princeton now, and it's a major outbreak right now, so
Yes.
most parents are concerned. He had to get the vaccination as well.
Right.
But then you contracted it, you go into a coma for 3 weeks, you wake up, what happens?
I wake up, and the first thing I remember waking up out of a coma is just my doctors and nurses just kind of surrounding around my bed, and it was just kind of like, "Hey, Ray, how are you doing? We're going to have to amputate all of your limbs today. You've got bacterial meningitis."
Oh my goodness.
To me, it was the most devastating thing. Like I said, here I am, a world-class athlete, and now my hands and my feet, which to me were my children, my babies, are being snatched from me.
Talk about that moment. You find out the news, it's devastating.
Yes.
What happens? Do you have a support system? What are the things that you go through? Do you pray? Do you cry? What happens at that time?
At that time, I would probably say I personally just shut down. As an athlete, we tend to, when we get hurt or we're down or, we're losing in a game, our thing is we usually want to be up 10 to 15 points. I could not find that spunk, that athlete in me to bring me back to where I needed to get to. As time went on, my parents, they dropped everything for me. They were my amazing support system. Not only just my parents, my school, Virginia Tech, my community here in Maryland, in the Columbia area, and just worldwide.
Now, do you get support in terms of therapists? Does the hospital give you people to work through this transition? Because this is a major life change.
Well, of course, they have their physical therapy, occupational therapists there that are there to do their jobs. Like I said, I had just came to a point where I shut down and I didn't want to comprehend what was going on or what, may be in the future ahead of me. I didn't get it.
What was your turning point? When did you say, this is my new normal, my new reality, new life,
Right.
and how do I begin anew? And then you took it and made a different life out of it. So when was the turning point? What was the turning point?
The turning point probably was the day that I had my teammates come and see me. My coach brought them in, and I was so excited to see them. And probably within 5 minutes before they could actually come into my room, because to be able to come in my room, you had to get dressed in like an apron, a mask, and gloves. You had to put the outfit on first. And to me, it was devastating, because here I am just thinking, you know, oh my gosh, you know, I've got the cooties, you know, my friends can't even come in
It's a quarantine
and be with
setting.
me. Right. So to me, it was devastating. Once I saw them all standing at the door dressed in these outfits, I told my coach I didn't want to see them. And I just told her that day I was tired, I was exhausted, you know, I had gone through so much with the therapy, and just physically I was just drained. And she knew that something was wrong. She knew that wasn't the case at all. And she just let me know, you know, these girls are not here because to see what you look like. They're here because they love you. They're here because they miss you. You know, these are your sisters. When you're on a team, you create a bond with a group of girls.
You become a family,
exactly.
really.
We were a family.
So were you ready to receive your sisters at that point?
I was not. It took hours for me to actually be like, okay.
And they stayed this whole time?
They stayed, and eventually they came in, and it was just like nothing had happened. It was like I hadn't gone through what I was going through at that time, laughing, joking, talking, just having a great time.
So you have a turnaround. You now have new limbs. You've now taken that lemon and made lemonade. You've made a new life. Talk about how you did that, and what made you kind of say, I need to do something new with my life.
Right. Well, I've always been a firm believer of things happen, and you really can't control that. Now I am a firm believer that bad things happen to good people. It doesn't matter who you are, what you have going on for you.
Was faith a part of this for you?
Faith was definitely a part of me. And even now to this day, it's even more a part of me. It's even bigger. You know, I live it, I breathe it, I wake up to it. I realized that, you know, the Lord kept me around for a reason. He had a bigger plan for me. It wasn't for me to be a basketball star. It wasn't for me to be a volleyball star or to be a dancer.
So you found your purpose in disaster.
I found my purpose. I found my calling. I found myself.
So what would you say? How would you describe your calling?
I definitely describe my calling as just my personality. I've always been one of those spunky, outgoing, you know, life of the party type people.
Yes.
And I would have to say, going through this ordeal, not only has it made me just love myself so much more and appreciate myself and what life has to offer, but at the same time, it's waking me up, and it's just shown me that I'm a better person than I thought I was before this has happened. So
now you're a motivational speaker, and you take this all around the country and hopefully the world. I want to invite you to take it around the world with me.
Would love to.
What do you say? What are your 3 points that you make?
My 3 points are definitely overcoming adversity, letting people know that you can overcome anything. I have people say to me all the time, I don't know if I could have been as strong. And I say, I didn't know I was either. You never know how strong you are till you go through something.
Yeah.
So overcoming adversity, I would definitely say, one of my favorite quotes is from Frederick Douglass. It's, without struggle, there is no progress.
Yes.
So we all go through our own struggles in life. Some people you can see them, some people you can't. Mine is physical, so it's something that you can see. And like I said, I take it with a grain of salt. I use every day as a great learning experience. And then the third point would definitely be, I can't say it enough, not to take things in life for granted.
So each day is special?
Each day is so special.
Each moment actually is very special.
Each day, each moment, each second, however you want to put it.
Well, you still are very graceful. You still are the life of the party.
You.
You look absolutely fabulous. Your color, your grace, your poise. So we want to just take a break, and we'll be back, and we're going to talk more with you about life with Rayna DuBose. Stay right with us. We'll be right back. In case you're just joining us, this is Conversations with Dr. Sujay. I'm Dr. Sujay Johnson-Cook, and we're so delighted to have you. 2001, she graduates from high school. She receives a full scholarship, Division I, going to Virginia Tech. She finds out she has bacterial meningitis, goes into a 3-week coma, and then all of her limbs are amputated. We're speaking with Rayna DuBose, who has turned her life around and is a motivational speaker and is a motivation for all of us. Welcome again to the set.
Thank you.
So happy to have you. So what's a typical day like in the life of Rayna DuBose?
A typical day, usually I wake up about 1 o'clock. Usually I wake up, the first thing I do is try to figure out where the night before I may have left my limbs, so my legs or my arms. Usually once I gather all my pieces and parts together, I'm able to be pretty functionable. Usually wake up, go to the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth. I love to cook, usually make breakfast.
What's your best meal?
Well, I'm a huge pasta lover.
Okay,
I
so
love
am I.
pasta.
Yes.
So anything pasta, I just love to hook it up, as
Okay.
you can say.
Are you independent in terms of living?
Yes, very much independent. I have an apartment. I live on the top floor of my apartment. And that was by choice of myself to let, reassurance for me, my mom, my dad, my family, my friends, just, letting them know that I can do this. I've got this still.
And that was important to you to do.
That was very important.
And it was
to me.
actually important for them also to be able to see you in that role.
Right.
Exactly. But then you're invited to CBS Early Morning. You're all over the world speaking on television shows, radio shows. What's it like, first of all, being on the set for CBS this morning?
Well, it's always an exciting time anytime I'm able to get the word out there. And the word for me is just putting the bug in people's ears and letting them know that, hey, this disease is out here, it's nasty, it's mean, but at the same time, it's vaccine preventable. It can prevent and it can save a life.
Okay. What would you have done differently now that you know what you know?
What would I have done differently?
You got the vaccine.
I got the vaccine.
Life sometimes happens, though, doesn't it?
Exactly. Honestly, I don't think I would have changed a thing. If I could go back and change anything about my freshman year, I probably wouldn't change a thing. And I say that because this has actually been one of the greatest learning experiences I've ever encountered in my life.
What have you learned about life? What have you learned about yourself?
About myself, I've definitely learned that I'm a lot stronger than I think I am. Going through this ordeal, I guess you could say, really taught me about strength. It taught me about love, and it just taught me about acceptance. To me, the hardest thing, it took me 7 years to finally accept the fact that, hey, this is who I am now. I'm missing my arms and I'm missing my legs. I know they have all these great new technologies out there with the prosthetics and the new hand transplants going on. But like I said, acceptance was probably my last thing to finally overcome. And I'm so happy that I finally did overcome it.
So you go through the various stages. They said just like death. I mean, there's anger, there's non-acceptance, and then at some point you say, this is life. I'm here. God kept me here. So what do I do with the time that I have left?
Exactly.
So what are you going to do with the time you have left?
With the time I have left, I just want to live life. I want to live, and I just want to have a great time.
Do you have a passion that you found your purpose?
I do.
But what's your passion?
Crazily, my passion and my purpose are the same thing.
Okay.
I wake up every morning thrilled and excited and ready to do whatever it is I needed to do. These speaking engagements, I long for it.
So you love the audience energy?
I love it. It's a new type of basketball game for me. So
Wow.
I don't have the actual game anymore. This is my new game. I wake up in the morning to sweat my speaking engagements.
I love
I
it.
get up on the stage to get out there and make the crowd go ooh and ah as they would do when I used to be on the court.
Do you write your own speeches?
I write my own speeches. Everything literally comes straight from my heart. I find that when I write things down, I don't actually say them.
Okay.
So I just tend to go with
a little
what's
outline,
on the heart.
actually?
Exactly. I definitely have an outline.
When did you know you had a slam dunk speech?
I knew I had a slam dunk speech probably 2 years ago when one of my, I do a lot of vaccine preventable talks, and so I tend to have the same audiences a lot. And so this person has probably heard me speak about 15 to 20 times, and every time they're in tears, they're moved by it. So for me, it would probably have to be that one moment when that person came to me and was just, I don't know what you're doing, but it's phenomenal. So, I try to take from everybody. I live on YouTube and on the internet like most people do.
So you read life, actually.
I read life, I study, and I watch speakers, what they do when they're standing on the stage, how they get their point across. I find that people love a great story. So you can never go wrong with a great story.
And you can only tell your story, which is wonderful. No one can tell your story like you can tell your story.
And that's all I know.
What do you do for fun?
For fun, I sleep. I catch up on sleep.
Kind of like my son.
I travel. I love to travel, even when I'm not speaking. Like I said, I coach boys varsity basketball.
Yes. And where are you doing that?
And I'm still in Columbia, Maryland, so in Howard County area. I coach Marriott Ridge, assistant coaching Marriott Ridge boys varsity.
Do you go out, do you see movies? Do you dance still?
Oh yes, I still go out with my friends. We still love to go out, dance. I've been getting into living social and Groupon's now, so
Okay.
I love, just trying out whatever they have on there. So I think the newest thing I have coming up is a sumo wrestler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm excited about it.
You should be. What's on Rayna's bucket list? Give me your top 5 things you haven't done but that you would try to do.
My top 5 things. I would love to go to Africa and maybe do some leadership work over there,
That'd be
working with young girls, overcoming adversity, appearance-wise, letting them know that, hey, we all look different, but we're all beautiful in our own way.
So imaging.
Yes, self-imaging,
consulting, yeah.
Definitely.
For disabled and able-bodied people?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, so you don't stick to one genre. Okay, good, good.
I find that I try not to stick to just one because everybody has their own problems, and I don't want to just limit myself to one type of group or one specific person.
Right.
When everybody, has their own ways of reaching out and grasping on and, comprehending it some type of way.
Okay, so Africa's on your bucket list. What else is on your bucket list?
I would love to go to Africa.
Yeah, I lived in West Africa. It's an awesome experience.
Oh, wow.
In Ghana and Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that all of us need to go because we don't know every piece of our history.
Right.
When you land on the shores, it's sort of like this is the missing link.
Exactly.
And, so I hope that for you as well. What else is on your bucket list?
I would definitely like to be a lot more involved, activist-wise, I guess, for all vaccine preventable diseases as well.
Have you spoken with any health companies that might, or corporations that might actually sponsor that?
Yes, I actually do majority of my work throughout the year with Novartis vaccines.
Okay, good.
So with promoting this new vaccine, Menveo, that they have for bacterial meningitis.
Okay.
And I would love to reach out to some of these other companies as well. Like I said, I don't want to just be tied down to one group. I want to.
You can also do commercials, actually.
Would love to.
Yeah, I can see you doing
PSAs, anything.
I turn it on. I wouldn't flip and go get my popcorn during your
Good,
commercial. I would
yeah.
stay. Yeah, definitely. What
I'll do
else
a
is on
little
your
dance.
bucket list? You do a little dance?
I do a little dance.
Okay, I can see that too.
Anything else?
Where's the favorite place that you've traveled in your travels?
I absolutely love going down to the Caribbean. Puerto Rico, I get a lot of trips down to Puerto Rico, so I just love sitting on the beach with my little margarita and just watching the waves go.
Is there a language you want to learn?
I would love to learn French one day.
Yeah, I can see.
Fluently, I know I'd probably never get it.
But you're an overcomer.
Right.
I think you would kind of end up teaching the class.
I love a challenge, so I love a good challenge.
What about family love? You talked about love. What's happening for you?
Both my parents have finally retired, and can't be more thrilled for that. My parents have worked their fingers to the bone for me, for my brother, my entire life.
It's you and your brother?
Yes, just the two of us. And nowadays I just try to spend most of my time giving back and doing for them as much as they did for me growing up. They never missed any of my sporting events, a dance event. So, I just try to be there mentally, physically, and support them, whatever it is that they need. Just spending a lot more time with them.
Let's go back to that dark place. There are a lot of warriors that come back. In fact, they're called wounded warriors. Some who've lost limbs, but some who've lost their kind of will because of post-traumatic stress and other issues, related to war and being in the service. Do you talk with any veterans, and what would you say to them when they get in that dark place when it was like when you didn't want to get out of bed or when you didn't want to see your teammates? What would you say to them?
Right. Actually, yes, I have. I have spoke to the Wounded Warriors a couple times in the past years, and every time I've gone there, it's just been a moving experience. I walk out in tears.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just from being able to have that connection with them. We don't have the same story, but we have the same story. Regardless of how we lost our limbs, we're amputees in the same sense, with both traumatic stories. And I find that speaking with the Wounded Warriors, they're real people just like us.
So you find common ground.
I find common ground. I draw strength from them. I draw motivation from them. And just more importantly, people say to me all the time, oh, you're such an inspiration. Well, I don't do what I do to be an inspiration, I guess. I do it to get inspiration from others. Oh.
So you live your life, and if that's inspiring, then that's a
right.
wonderful, wonderful thing.
Right.
Yeah. When I was an ambassador, actually, I was going all over the world, and I was a faith leader before I went into the government. And even in different countries where there are different cultures and different faiths, we try to find that common ground. Like,
right.
we don't have the same story, but we do have the same story. We
right.
find that place where our hearts connect.
Right.
And it seems that that's what you do. You find the place where the heart connects.
Yes.
And where the heart beats most.
Right.
What haven't you done that you really want to do?
What haven't I done?
You've received now the Wilma Rudolph Award. You've been to the NCAA.
Yes.
Tell us a little more about the NCAA, what you've been doing.
That was just an amazing experience. That was something that was actually on my bucket list. And if I had to add something else to my bucket list, it would definitely be more NCAA events.
So tell me about this particular one.
This was the Student Leadership Forum, so probably about 300 kids from all over the world, divisions 1, 2, and 3, and just coming together and doing different groups and workshops and building activities. They had an amazing lineup of speakers.
So these are all college students from these different divisions?
All student athletes, yes.
And were you one of the speakers for this event?
Yes, I was one of the speakers. I spoke on overcoming adversity. And it was just an amazing experience. I think I spoke about 1 o'clock that afternoon, but I woke up 6 a.m. just ready to go.
Oh my goodness.
When I got down there, I was able to mingle and meet some of the kids before I was able to go on set, and it was amazing.
Were you a legend already? Did some of them already know you? Or know
I
of you?
don't think so.
Okay, but when you left, they certainly know
exactly,
who you are.
but when I left, they definitely knew me and my
you for the rest
story.
of your life, definitely. What's follow-up? Do you keep in touch with your teammate from Virginia Tech? I mean, you've graduated now.
Right.
What was your degree in?
Consumer studies.
Okay.
Liberal arts.
Liberal arts.
Yes.
So your teammates, your former teammates now, do you still stay in touch, or you're still
yes.
a family?
Yes, we definitely still keep in contact. We see each other all the time. It's great with my job. I'm able to travel all the time, so I can catch up with them usually in whatever city they're in. Yes. A lot of my roommates or my teammates, they're coaching, so they travel, so we can still catch up with each other. So it's great. Everybody's doing wonderful.
So would you call what happened in 2001 a disaster now, or is there a new word for it because of what you've done with what happened?
I would call it a miracle, probably, more than anything.
Wow.
Like I said, I can't say it enough. This has been an amazing opportunity and learning experience for me, and I'm just truly blessed for it.
That's a great word. That's a great word. What have you learned from sports that's a life lesson?
From sports, I've learned never quit, never give up.
That's true, exactly.
And like I said, this is my new game, so I carry that mentality and that attitude with me throughout everything that I do.
So in sports, there's a sideline sometimes. Sometimes you have to sit on the bench.
Right.
So there was a period between getting out of that bed and getting your new limbs and then getting onto the floor. So you were on the sidelines, learning some new life lessons, but you had to learn to live a different way. What did you learn during that time?
I definitely learned that I need to get up an hour earlier.
It takes a little more time?
It takes a lot more time
Okay.
to just get myself together. Now that it's been 11 years, I've got it down to a science. So, it's interesting though.
It's interesting.
Every day is something different for me. No day is ever the same. One day my hand might be working, the next day it might not be working. And I need to figure out how to do this with 2 broke hands, basically.
Okay. So what do you do when something like that happens? One is broken. Where do you go? I mean, kind of what happens?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay.
I make it happen.
You make it happen.
So I'm probably more functional with 2 broken hands than I am with 1 working hand.
Wow.
And that's probably because in the beginning when this first happened, my prosthetics were just always breaking. I never knew the happy medium or the threshold that I had with being able to do things as far as if I hit my hand on something hard or, between pushing up to get up to stand up. I never knew where the happy medium was.
Okay.
So that was a learning experience in itself, was trying to figure out, okay, how can I stop breaking my hand every 2 weeks and try and have a normal functional working hand? And like I said, it really just took to me adapting to it, getting used to it, learning how to do things with the broke hand, and then figuring it out. And it really just being a bonus when my hand was working.
So you're a go-getter.
Yes.
You can make it happen.
I will make it happen.
What happened in New Orleans? What was that moment like, receiving the Most Courageous Award?
That was an exciting moment. At the same time, I didn't realize Dwayne Wade was there at the time.
Oh my goodness.
This was before he was the big Dwayne Wade he is now. So it was just kind of
So you
like...
made him famous, actually. That's really what happened. Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
you know. So I was able to meet him, you know, before he became the big time Dwayne Wade, which was great. Just thinking about and seeing the person he was then, who he was now, is a great feeling.
So you're courageous. You received the Most Courageous Award. You're confident, obviously. You have charisma. You have character.
Thank you.
What else do you have? What am I missing?
Spunk.
The spunk, yes you do. Do you feel like a celebrity? Because we feel like you are.
No, I don't feel like a celebrity. That girl next door, I'm still the same person I was before.
Oh, you're a wonderful woman. You're a
Thank
Wonder
you.
Woman, actually. And we're so excited to have you. You have
Thank you.
been just a joy to have on the set. We want the best for you. We want your dreams to continue to come true,
Thank
because
you.
so many already have come true. You've turned a nightmare into a wonderful miracle,
Yes.
as you've called it, and we are very thankful for you. When you were lying on your bed, what did you think about? I know his faith was there. What did you think about in terms of where does one's head have to get to be able to put your feet on the floor when you have your new limbs?
You have to be in that confident phase. You have to be in that accepting phase. You just have to all be there together. And for me, like I said, it was a period of time. It did take 7 years for me to finally get to that point in time to say, you know, when I wake up in the morning and I turn around on the edge of my bed and I put my legs into my feet to stand up, this is me. This is who I am every day, day in and day out.
And we saw the Boston Marathon victims.
Yes.
And one was a dancer.
Yes.
And she seems to have the same spunk from what we see on the news as you do. What would you say to her to just help her to keep on going and keep on dancing?
I would definitely say keep living that dream. Keep on dancing.
Okay. Well, you keep on dancing. You're the miracle woman. You're the Wonder Woman. You're the courageous one.
Thank you.
And we give you the Most Courageous Award. But most of all, we thank you so much for being with Conversations with Dr. Sujay.
Thank you so much.
This is just the beginning of a wonderful relationship, and you ain't seen nothing yet. So thank you.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for joining us. You've been with Conversations with Dr. Sujay, and thank you for joining us. You can reach us at charismaspeakers@gmail.com, and we hope to see you next time.